Yeah, I'm feeling connected to my higher self. I always seem to find this version when I'm by myself. I had no problem being alone, but they tell me every king needs a throne. But I don't want no fancy chair crown, I want a home. Thought you wanted.
Welcome to episode 22 of the Julio and Ice podcast. I am Matty Ice, and I'm with the Julio, the Don.
Why don't you say?
I can't say the handsome one. It just sounds weird me calling you the handsome one. I didn't know what to say there.
It's okay, man. I get it. It's just I get it. That's a good. I don't care. That's fine. You could bring me in anywhere you want, brother. What's up, brother? How are things?
Just wonderful. It's kind of crazy that it's already July 5th.
I know
when we're recording this, but yeah, holy smokes, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason we talk about that is because the tournament at the end of the month, and it's like Christmas in July. You know, that's what I get excited for. I get excited for that.
Oh, this will be the first time the Noonan tournament is in July.
Is it?
Yeah, it's never. We always play in June. Last year's would have been in July, but they canceled. But yeah, so we did something different. What's going on in your neck of the woods? I know you've been training. If anybody has seen on the Twitter page, love the videos. Yeah, the simple things. A lot of people don't work on the simple things.
You know, like spelling. I spelled Miking wrong, and somebody cut me in my throat in the DMs. They're like, "Oh, bro, you don't know about Mike George Mike," and I'm like, "All right, bro, it's Twitter. Like, it was an accident. I wish they had the
edit it.
I can't edit it. So I just if for those who are gonna go look at the video, I put a reply on the bottom. I just put a star and spelled Miking right. But yeah, man, just got back in the training grind. It's fun. At times it could be frustrating because, you know, you're still dealing with the young generation of guys who, you know, claim to be working hard, but and their work ethic doesn't really show that. So I kind of try to, you know, I always keep the same formula, but I just try to update the formulas as far as working out. But I think more or less this time around, or, you know, my approach now is going to be strictly just try to teach kids how to work harder. Like, I know it's simple. I know it sounds just redundant and just very cliche, but it's true, man. Like, you know, I emphasize how hard kids are working all the time. And, you know, for those who don't know, we have Shavar Bernier from the Taft School in this episode, and he talks a lot about that stuff when he was at, you know, the prep showcase down in Avon, Connecticut. And he makes a comment that I'm just going to say here, but you guys will hear. But he made a comment and he said, you know, the way you rip through for your 1 dribble pull up, rip through every single time, like John Shire is going to offer you a Division I scholarship. You know, like, you know, if you're really going to get to your 1 or 2 dribble pull up, like really do that same motion and really do that same enthusiastic or exaggerated movement when you're working out. I don't have kids rip off 10 shots or try to make 10 shots from spots anymore, Matty. Kids can't even make 6 from a spot. You know, like a lot of my guys that I work out too, they have a hard time with the Miking drill. They have a hard time with just the form shooting drill. So I really try to emphasize those things and just try to be really repetitious and just try to make sure kids are kind of just getting muscle memory down while working hard as if they're in a game. So I'm challenging myself every day with every single kid that I work out. You know, it's been fun. We're kind of just like 2 weeks in right now of, you know, getting back into summer things, but it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I would just say
I might need some advice. I might need some advice though. So so let me know.
Advice on what?
Just I don't know. You've seen the video. I mean, you know, I threw it out there just to be like, hey, listen, I'm doing this now. If you guys are interested, come through. But at the same time, I want that video to kind of be like an overall synopsis of like how I do things. You know, footwork with the ladder, Miking drill, form drill, you know, game related stuff, coming off a dribble handoff, sitting behind the DHOs, you know, no wasted movements. And I think that's just like, you know, that's just how you got to play if you want to be a scholarship level type of guy.
Yeah, to go off what you're saying too is kind of a emphasis I've been talking about with guys at BST is like also like wasted time, you know, like for instance, in today's workout, you know, we were like 50 minutes in, and I was telling some guys like, I didn't even know you were here yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being real. Like, wait, it's great that you show up to the workout.
Yeah.
But then you have to make your impact. You have to be felt at the workout. Like, you can't just hide or like, blend in. Like, you got to separate yourself in a workout. That's the only way you're going to get better. And I think that, I think when I think of the overall picture of kids these days and like, oh yeah, I went to the gym, worked out for 2 hours. It's a lot of wasted time. A lot of wasted time. I don't know. And I think what's lacking, I guess, to say that is like, maybe kids don't know what to do in a gym. When we were growing up, we were just playing. You'd play 5-on-5, like you're trying to win, you're trying to compete. Like, I don't know if they know. I don't think there's like that much stuff going on where kids do that anymore. Everybody's got a trainer. Everybody's got, I don't know, some gym they go to or AAU, skills thing they do. So I don't know. Maybe that's what's creating this. But yeah, I saw that today. I thought about that today. I'm like, yeah, it's been like an hour, guys. And like a lot of you just wasted that hour because you're not going that hard. Like, you got to make the most of every opportunity you have in a gym, especially like, at a BSD or at a workout with you where you're with somebody. Like, that should be the easiest time to be motivated and go hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for the BST workouts, I think it could be a little bit more easier to kind of be enthusiastic and energetic because there's other guys
kids
around.
Yeah, you're trying to, and that's why I said to him, I said, we're 55 minutes in the gym, and I think I know who the best player in this gym is, but I couldn't tell you who it is right now if I just walked in. It was the first time seeing everybody. That's bad. Like I said, you have to have that mentality. Like, you're the best. Every time I do anything I do, if it's stretching, I'm the best stretcher. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, if you don't walk in with that mentality, like, you're not going to get the, like the goals that you want to achieve. You're not going to get to the highest level that you can push yourself because it's just your mentality. It's like, you want to play when you feel like playing.
Yeah.
That's just not the way to be. Yeah.
I feel that it's tough. It's tough too, because I think to add on to what you're saying about like stretching and doing things right, it's like, man, like if you ever went to a workout with Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, just the way they walk into the gym, they mean business. I can't imagine being in a workout. I want to be a fly on the wall in a Drew Halen workout just to see the professional approach, and so I can record it as a fly on the wall and just to show these kids, like, man, the way you just the workout starts at 3 and you walking in at 2:55, like man, like, is that what you're gonna do in a game?
Yeah.
You're gonna finish the McChicken with cheese before you walk into the workout. Like, not only is that a disrespect to me, but it's also a disrespect to you and the craft that you possess, right? This is what you're about, right? This is your livelihood. And I try to really emphasize that in my workouts with the kids too. It's like, for some strange reason, I got this one kid, he's going to be playing at he's going to play in a small college in Boston, and he's always asking me questions just about generic things. But every time he asks me questions, he asks me in reference to something that he saw on the internet. Like, and it's like, man, like, I want to tell him all the time, hey man, it's okay to not reference everything to somebody on the internet. It's fine to just be who you are and be in the position that you are. Like Maddie, for example, this kid, and I spend my time with this kid all the time, so he knows who he is. I'm not going to name, drop him. I spend time with him at the track. He wants to be a college player. He's not trying to be an All-American. He's like, hey, I just want to play college basketball for 4 years. I was like, first of all, with all due respect to all the YouTube influencers, I don't think you trying to model yourself after Tristan Jazz's trick shots is, the way to go if you want to play college basketball. It's not a knock on that guy because he's doing it for whatever purpose. But don't come to my workout and ask me if I think Tristan Jazz is a scholarship player. I don't care about Tristan Jazz.
I don't even know who the hell that is. So
look him up, man. Again, YouTube
I don't do
influence.
That. I don't do that stuff, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to know, people out there, you want to know what I YouTube? I YouTube Kobe or MJ. That's the only thing I YouTube. That's the only thing I want to YouTube. Because that to me is fun. I don't care about these influences and any of that crap, bro. I really don't. I honestly.
It's hard too, because on YouTube, obviously it's filtered. So if you're doing basketball stuff, they'll recommend a video, and it's like I click it by accident.
I hate your recommendations.
Going through I know, and it's
that's
like
what I would
go
say
through
to YouTube.
I go through a blunder of
you sometimes
just
you get lost
watching bad stuff, man. Like again, I saw this guy, like, I don't know his name, or I don't really know too much about him, but, you know, he's got the parks going, you know, the park thing is big now. Right. And then the guy, I think I said this in the pod, the guy like got on his knees and like did like 2 dribbles on his knees and then shot a 3. I'm just like, man,
Can you block that?
where's
from
the
YouTube?
yeah, where's the game gone? Like, you know, like, where is the game gone? But with my guy that I'm working with in the gym with my client, I just, you know, I try to make sure that I try to be like, you know, more of an inspiration and more of a different type of figure of, like, you know, for him, because that's all he knows. He's 19 years old. That's all they know is YouTube and Twitter. So the way we stretch, the way we prepare, there's been times too, like just this past week, you know, he'll get in the gym and he'll grab the basketball and then he'll shoot a 45 footer. I said, bro, like, all right, so now before we do the workout, I'm stretching with you, and you got to do some 17s. We're going to start the workout with 17s because you want to shoot a 45 footer. I told you, don't shoot the 45 footer when you get in here. Do your form shooting or stretch, because it's a formula, right? It's the formula we talk. We come in, we stretch, we do it, we hit the ladder, and then we get right into the mic. And not one part of that formula says, "Let me get behind half court and let me pull up for 3." That's just not how it works. And again, I'm giving them the blueprint.
You have to, try.
I'm hoping, and you know what's a good thing too? I wanted to mention here. He was from New Hampshire. He came from New Hampshire, so like he's big into the New Hampshire scene, the kid. So I just mentioned our guy Chris Petsy, like of just how hard Chris Petsy would work. You know what I mean? Like Chris Petsy was one of the first guys who I know just always put the time in. Exeter, New Hampshire. You know what I mean? Like didn't care what anybody say. Wasn't athletic. He knew he wasn't athletic, and he knew what he can do in the college level. My job is to hit open shots, right? Anytime he put it on the deck, coach would be like, "Hey, listen, don't get too antsy by putting it on the deck. Your job is to shoot threes. You know, your job is to hit open jump shots for us." So I try to, you know, make him like, not model, but kind of like I see a little bit of Chris Petsy in him, just because I feel like, you know, he can eventually do something like that. Not obviously as good as Chris Petsy was, but something like that. You know, good shooter. You know, works hard. You know, understands the game. So shout out to Chris Petsy, St. Joe's guy. Moving on.
That's cool, bro. That's better than what I was doing this morning. I was just talking mad smack to all the kids this morning.
You get in the drill?
No, I didn't get in the drill. I just kept telling. I just said, "Oh, you gonna win? You gonna lose again in this drill? You gonna lose again? Oh, you gonna win this drill today?" What? I said, one of the kids. He listens to this pod. He's a great kid because I like him because I can talk, you know, shit to him and he'll respond. Like he doesn't get frustrated. Like I think it gets him going. But yeah, I was talking a whole bunch of shit to him today. I was like, "What have you won today?" "Oh, that's right, nothing. You haven't won anything."
That's a good approach, man.
You haven't won any drill yet. You haven't won one drill. What are you gonna tell your mom when you go home? Yeah, you had a good workout because you didn't.
Did you have fun? She's gonna ask. Mommy's gonna ask if you had fun. You know, as long as you have fun, baby. You know. Before we get on to the next subject, I was you know, I work out another kid, and he's somebody I've been working out for a couple of years. Like he wants to be scholarship, right? And at the end of the drill, at the end of the workout, we usually try to bang out just 5 spots, hitting shots at a high rate. And he'll miss like 5 in a row. I was like, man, like, you want to play scholarship, bro? And you're missing 5 in a row. Like, bro, good shooters never miss 2 in a row. You know what I mean?
That's a lot.
Like good shooters. You know what I mean? And you talking about you're a great shooter, you're this scholarship guy, man. Like, you don't miss 2 in a row. You're not scholarship. The scholarship guys don't miss 2 in a row. You know what I mean? You're gonna miss 3 in a row? Okay, you're average. Oh, 4 in a row. Oh, now you're not even gonna crack the rotation, baby. You're not gonna crack the rotation. You know, missing 4 in a row. So that's something that you can probably emphasize at BSC. Hey, listen, if you're missing 4 in a row, you're probably not in the rotation of the team that you want to be on, buddy.
Yeah, nah.
You know, when's the last time you missed 4 in a row? You know, yeah, exactly. You think you can't think about it.
When I was like 8, I don't know, man. That's tough. Yeah, but I think that's what kids gotta understand. Like when you're doing rep shooting too. Just I know we're trying to move on to this next topic, but when you're trying to become a good shooter, I always say, like, you know, I do a lot of drills where you got to make 2 in a row. And you can't miss 2 in a row, because if you're missing that many consecutively, you're really not a good shooter. Good shooters don't miss that many in a row, or can string consecutive shots in a row. Yeah. Not like I hit 1, I miss 5, I hit one or 2, I miss 6. Like, it's got to be consistent shooting. So,
and then the frustrating thing about it is, who you think has got to chase those fucking bricks around the whole gym?
you. That's why you're in great shape.
Exactly. I'm cleaning the glass.
Rebound like Charles Barkley. But before we get into the interview, let's do a Suns Bucks NBA Finals. Pretty sure it's first games tomorrow night. What are you thinking?
It obviously all depends on if Giannis is gonna play.
So let's say he's gonna play in this series. What are your predictions? Because I'm assuming if he doesn't play, you're saying the Suns are gonna win.
If he doesn't play, the Suns might sweep him.
Yeah, I would say it'd be a gentleman's sweep. Yeah.
Okay. Or a gentleman's sweep.
If Giannis doesn't play, yeah, I think it'd be like a 5-game series.
If Giannis plays and he's not going to be 100% game 1 or game 2 if he plays.
I don't think he'll be 100% at all, man. That knee injury was rough.
Yeah, it looks scary because he screamed when it happened too. I stopped. I don't like watching.
I can't watch that. That was a lot. I think that was one of the last moments I watched that series, because I was like, I can't. Especially with Trae Young not playing, I was like, I can't watch this.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
The injuries have been crazy, bro, too. So, but
yeah, is it the NBA's fault for starting too soon? Like, Trae Young.
Here's the thing: LeBron said that. Now, LeBron came out and said all that crap. I don't disagree with him, but here's my point: if they all were cool with losing money, then fine. Then the NBA should have listened to him. But I don't know if that was the case. Like, are they cool with losing all that money? They were going to lose a lot of money if they didn't play as many games.
Money makes the world go round, baby.
Of course, it always does. So you
still the guy behind you said more money, more problems.
That's my dog.
I do think, I think no matter what, I think the Suns are going to win. I think there's Suns in 6. I'll just say Suns in 6.
Yeah, I like the Suns' chances.
I don't know. CP, CP's there. He's going to make a huge difference, but I think him and Drew Holiday kind of cancel out.
Okay.
Because Drew Holiday is nice.
I like Drew Holiday a lot.
Plays D.
I think the X factor to me is obviously Devin Booker, because I don't know who matches him on the other end, and then Ayton. I mean, Ayton's been playing great. Can he continue it? Because Milwaukee is bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and shout out to Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez played solid basketball.
I still hate his game, but yeah, he did. I have to give him respect.
Why do you hate it again?
He's just, why I hate him though? I hated him more really on that USA team. I thought he should not have been there. They didn't take like Bam Adebayo and stuff. Like, he's just like, he's a big guy that now shoots threes. And like, I liked him back in the, Brooklyn Nets days when he was in the post, at least he tried to dominate in there. But now, he's chuck threes and he's just so slow. I hate guys that are just like BWS's big white stiffs, it's just. You gotta jump, baby. You gotta jump. He's 7 feet tall.
7 feet tall, baby. You ain't
gonna get that rebound.
But you can't get that. What's popping? Yeah. No, I think you're right. I definitely think you're right. I think DeAndre Ayton wins that battle between Brook Lopez.
I just think the Suns got a deep, man. I guess Milwaukee is too, but I think we talked about it. Dante being hurt, that hurts their depth, but I think it really comes down to depth in this series too, because I think the Suns got a bunch of guys that can hurt you coming off the bench too.
Are you excited for the finals? Like, are you interested? Are you gonna get Are you gonna get a 12-pack of wings? What are you gonna do?
I really liked watching the Suns this whole playoff, so that's why I'll watch. I honestly don't really enjoy watching the Bucks play. I think they're pretty one-dimensional, especially when Giannis is in. I just feel like they're just not great to watch. Like, I like some of the guys on their teams, but I don't love watching them. I also think it would be kind of fraudulent if they did somehow win the NBA Finals. Like, I think, in the sense of I just don't think that, when I think of Milwaukee Bucks, I don't think of them as a championship team. But hey, they're there, and I just hope the Suns win, because I actually think they're legit. And I hope that they end it the way they've started this playoff run. But I don't know.
Who
That's just
who wins Finals MVP if the Suns win?
if CP3 wins, I think that's unless he, obviously if he averages 40 points, some I think Devin Booker will win the MVP because I don't know if they'll have an answer for him. I think it really depends on who Drew Holiday guards because he's going to give a matchup. He's tough, so I mean he guards Chris Paul, that could be a wash. Guards Devin Booker, maybe then CP3 gets loose. But if he matches up with CP3, I just don't think they have an answer then for Drew. I mean, I'm sorry for Devin Booker. I don't know who's checking him.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think Drew Holiday will start off on him, and then they just figure out the rest.
Yeah.
You know what? It just sucks, Maddie, because I just think no matter what, if CP averages 6, 7, and 6 because he's in the NBA Finals, and they're gonna say he's gonna win the Finals MVP. I'm calling it. You know what I mean? Dev Booker is gonna average like 26, and they're gonna say that that Chris Paul was the Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, come on, don't give me that. I'm sick of that. LeBron stopper.
LeBron, he averaged 20 and
LeBron averaged like 37 in that finals, but he stopped LeBron.
Just had just so political. The game is so political. All right, so
we got a great interview, man.
We got a great interview, man. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Here it is with Shavar Bernier. So joining us now is a 3-year former captain at Dover High School in New Hampshire, first team All-State selection in 2004, and also the Seacoast Player of the Year. The accolades keep coming, though, fellas. After that, he decided to casually win a NEPSAC Class A championship during his post-grad year at Bridgeton Academy. And then he went on to Connecticut College, where he scored 1,187 points and still holds the records for 3-point field goal percentage and free throw percentage. You were the leader in all-time three-pointers made, but I think a kid who graduated in 2014, he notched you a little bit, Shavar. He's currently the admissions officer, head of a dormitory, assistant football coach, and the head basketball coach at the Taft School in Watertown, Connecticut. Joining us is Shavar Bernier. Shavar, what's going on, brother?
I'm hanging in, man. I appreciate that introduction. So, sounds okay. I'm doing okay.
That's good, man. Hey, Maddie, I had to let you guys know. I met Shavar, like I kind of meet a lot of my people. I met him in a competitive atmosphere. Met him at a 4-on-4, no holds bar, hell in the cell cage match at the local YMCA. And Shavar and I kind of crossed paths in the bathroom. And I remember kind of how we kind of connected. We talked hoops for about 10, 15 minutes. And then he ended the conversation with, here, take my number down, kid. If you know any kids who need any assistance or any help with school, please let me know. So after that, me and Shavar kind of, we stay connected. We hoop sometimes. We play in some leagues together. We text all the time. We talk hoops. We try to get together as much as we can. And besides all his accolades and everything that, he's done athletically, Shavar is probably one of the most genuine, hardworking, and just dopest guys that I've ever met. So, it's pretty cool to have him on here, man.
Yeah, wow, I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if I remember the moment as vividly as you, Julio. I remember probably losing that game and thinking, who's this little guy running around setting everybody up? The elbow and I'm coming through ball screens. Probably more what I remember most. But no, I appreciate that. And you're definitely a soundboard for me. And definitely the guy in the area I go to when I'm asking about players. As you know, I get those late night texts sometimes. Do you know this guy? Do you know this player? Well, tell me about this school. So I appreciate all that you've done in our time over the past few years.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So let's get into it, man. I mean, before we get into your startup, I obviously knew that you were at the NEPSAC showcase this past weekend, which was probably, I don't know, you can probably talk about it a little bit more, probably one of the more, it's probably the place you wanted to be in the beginning of the summer this year. I mean, there were probably over 350 high major Division I coaches there. I know you had some of your guys playing from Taft, and probably all the other prep schools around the country were there. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, kind of the atmosphere, what you gathered from that, and something that we can learn a little bit about that.
Yeah. The event was great. There was over 315 coaches, a number of high majors, but a range, right? There was something for everyone. You know, the super high end academic institutions, as well as sort of more even the blue bloods and some sort of state schools. And it's hard to step outside of the times. Like that stuff is pretty normal outside of COVID, right? But there was definitely from the coaches side, there was definitely sort of more bonding and sort of community connecting going on, I think, than what normally happens, right? I think we were all excited to be out. Like coaches were talking, there was no like, we're both recruiting the same kid, let's sit on the opposite sides of the court, sort of Williams, Amherst, Yale, Harvard, like everyone was good. It's like, wow, we're out, we're watching kids play, we're doing what we have always wanted to do. So there was a cool buzz in the gym because of that. And then, from the players' perspective, the league is really good. And, the top tier teams are some of the best high school teams in the country, and I don't think that's hyperbole. Like NMH, Brewster, St. Thomas More, those teams are as good as anyone. They play a national schedule, right? So when you have those schools at any event, you're going to have some of the best schools, basketball schools in the country. And then sort of we filter in, right? The double A's, the class A's, and, thinking about class A, Julio, I watched Hotchkiss and Exeter play after us, and there's 9 Division I guys on the court, and that's class A. Class A. Notre Dame's watching class A basketball. So, it's a really good event. The talent's, outstanding. I think what was good for our guys personally is to see the highest level high school players and to watch how efficient they are and to watch NMH and to watch, again, some of those top tier teams. You got kids with 25 offers, catch, shoot, catch, rip, one dribble kick, use the ball screen, come around hard, get 2 dribbles, extend it out, throw the hook pass. Like there's nothing extra. Like there's nothing extra. It was really fascinating to see. And I think our guys sort of took that to heart and maybe, hopefully we can apply some of that to the workouts. And, there's always a time to get busy, I guess. But when you watch the best high school players not do that, right, especially when there's no shot clock, I think it resonated with a lot of the kids in the gym. So the brand of basketball was really good, probably set by some of the top tier players.
That's the exciting part. I think for me, just from afar, seeing the fact that there were, 6'9", 6'10" Division I prospects playing the right way with no shot clock, that's just so refreshing. I think everybody with the COVID and kind of with the big layoff and kind of being away from competitive basketball, you thought everybody was going to come back just to show what they got, show their stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting and refreshing to hear that you were there. And I'm obviously jealous that you were next to Juwan Howard and those guys.
Yeah, I think everyone was. That I was joking, like, as a college coach, like, yeah, you didn't really grow up wanting to be a college coach. You grew up wanting to be a player. like that's yeah. Juwan Howard, though. He had a different than the Division I coach. He's like the guy. Like we wanted to be him. That was it was cool. I mean, and you're right. If you're a hoops guy, you're like, oh my gosh, that's Mike Woods. Like you're into it, right? It's really fun. It was definitely a good weekend, and I think it brought us back to maybe the forefront as one of the more talked about leagues in the country, because a lot of the other leagues were still sort of playing and pumping their stuff out, where we were sort of limited this year. So I think it was a really good event to get the exposure to the NEPSAC back.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your career here. Let's go back. So Dover High School, you're New Hampshire. You're a product of New Hampshire. Proud to say that you were born in New Hampshire. That's
yeah. So I lived in New Hampshire for a large part of my life. I moved back and forth between there and Massachusetts, like Fitchburg, Leominster, Air Mass, Lowell. Like I moved around a bunch and eventually settled with my grandmother in Dover. My sort of modest sort of family situation, to put it lightly. And I had to move with my grandmother. And yeah, she lived in Dover, so moved into the trailer park and went to Dover High and played football and basketball and a year of track, and just kind of like a normal kid. I feel like you just kind of play sports and kind of mix it up and you fall in love with it, right?
What made you? I read that you went and did a post grad at Bridgeton Academy. What made you want to do a PG year?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, Matt. And I yeah, I mean, the guys who are close to me know this. So I got in trouble my senior year.
Oh, okay.
And I was deciding on whether or not I was wanted to play football or basketball in college, and it was probably a higher level football recruit and player. But I got in trouble my senior year at a pretty high profile event. Like it was the Granite State games, like the 12 best players in New Hampshire against the 12 best players in Vermont, and we got in trouble like 4 days before that game, and the article came out. Yeah, this is tricky to talk about. An article came out in the Boston Globe. We got 10 of us got sent home. We were, drinking essentially, 3 days before the game, and we got in trouble. So we got sent home, and I remember, getting picked up by my aunt and talking to my coach, and he's like, "Oh, you can still go to," and he named a few schools. And I was like, I don't want to go there. And I remember calling coaches, and they're like, "We're gonna go in a different direction." Like you see that in movies, kind of like, "Oh,
Yeah.
we're going," like I'm the bad kid. Like I was literally like the bad kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was younger. I have a summer birthday, so I was 17. So I actually had to take a year off. So I took a year off and worked. And everyone sort of thought that was the worst idea ever, which was, looking back at it, right? Nobody in my family ever went to college, and now I'm just going to take a year off and float in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I took a year off. I worked really hard, I thought. I worked at the local rec center, the YMCA, and I applied the following year to go to Bridgeton. I had to pay a little bit, but I had worked for a year, and I went to Bridgeton. I remember going up there to train with the guys. Just like, holy shit. Like, I thought it was pretty good, right? Like all leagues, scored 28 a game, like, playing with Chris Brickley,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Lutz, the Bonner boys. Like New Hampshire hoops was pretty good at the time. And then I see the kids at Bridgeton. I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into? I was literally like the shortest kid on the team at 6 foot, 6'1". And it worked out. I got really lucky. I went there. I did really well in school. Finally got my stuff together. I won an academic excellence award, which isn't saying a ton. It's not a place like Taft. And I got lucky. I got really lucky. Fletcher Carr, who's my guidance counselor there, he said, I had the option to go to Bates and Con and looking at a few other schools, and then I had some Division II stuff from different types of academic schools, and he basically told me, you're going to one of these two schools. It's like, okay, whatever you think. It's like it'll make your life different. And really, I wasn't good enough. Like I'm not that talented. Like I'm a 6 foot guy who knows how to play basketball, who works pretty hard. But like I said, I can barely dunk the basketball in my prime. So I had no illusions of playing at the highest level at Kentucky or anything. So I was pretty comfortable at the time, having gone through a year off, probably not going to college. Coaches saying we don't really want to recruit you. I was like, I'm good. Like I'm going to Con, and I'm gonna try to be there, Kobe or whatever it was. But Bridgeton was great. Really, really, really talented players. We won the league at the time, so it was fun playing against Jerome Dyson. There's a kid on Brewster, Will Harris, and Derek Character is at Notre Dame Prep. Like it was so fun. And again, every game you realize, like, damn, I'm not really that good, huh? But I remember getting Coach Grant was the assistant at Con, and he came up to me after the game, and he starts naming players who won Class A championships, And he's like going through the list, and I happened to have 11 points, and he's like, it's you and like some NBA guys who scored double digits in the finals of the championship, in the championship. I'm like, I'm going, thanks. Such a good I was like, good. This feels awesome. I feel like I'm a pro.
Small victories.
Small victories. Right. And I think 2 points came like at the end of the game, on 2 free throws because they were fouling or something. But a double digit score in an NEPSAC championship game. Coach Grant, I owe my time at Con for that line, I think.
Hey, it's Shavar. I never heard that story prior, with the incident. It makes a lot of sense now, just the way you carry yourself and your personality and how you handle kids at a young age. Because I remember that you talk to a lot of kids, even your own or somebody else. It's like, what are you going to do when adversity hits? Do you crumble? Do you fumble? What do you do? And I mean, that you wear it so well. Like I would have never known if, you never would have told me that story. And, if I didn't hear that story and if I'd never heard of you, I probably would have thought you were a professor at, Con or something like that, man, just the way you handle yourself. So thanks for sharing that, man. I know that wasn't easy for you to.
No. I mean, my players know. It was crazy though. It's really fun to think about. Fun's probably the wrong word, but like you said, going through all of that as a young person, your head's spinning. Like I'm crying. Like I'm not gonna go to college, and your family and your friends. Oh, we love you no matter what, and it's good. It's normal. You went to high school, and like you're a pretty good kid, right? Like that's sort of the environment that I'm from. Like I wasn't in the wrong. Everyone kind of goes out and hangs, right? So. But to have coaches believe in me, Julio, I think was really important, and probably a little bit why I think I'm a coach or a mentor or educator. I think there are some people that really truly believed in me, and that got me through that year for sure. It really did, and yeah, that probably has a little bit to do with why I think, I may be too forgiving to some young kids. I probably should put that in the world. I'm going to go to Taft and do whatever the hell I want, and coach is going to forgive me. That's not the case, but yeah, people make mistakes, and young people are supposed to in some ways, right? Their brains aren't developed, and they're working through a lot of different things. So yeah, I want to help all the kids I can, as many kids as I can, like period.
And you do that for sure, man. Obviously you inspire me, and you're very you're that person that I look at and go, you know what, being Shavar Bernier isn't that bad. So let's go down to your your Con career. Like I said, I think you had a hell of a career. Second team all NESCAC. I think your senior year. But I want to get into a little bit because me and Maddie always have this conversation. You played in the Princeton offense. I think, Maddie, this is probably the last time I'm going to talk about it because it just brings back memories. But Shavar, I think you made a quote about it a little while ago, and I think I'm going to let you kind of talk about it a little bit more. But there was a quote that you said to me that made sense. But me personally, I mean, obviously, it's somebody coming from the city. I wasn't fond of the Princeton offense. So could you give me your introduction to it, what you thought about it, kind of going in as a freshman, and how it kind of made you a player, a better player?
So I don't know where I'll land on this. I think Maddie and I might become really close friends after this.
Oh, I know. That's why I wanted to talk about
me
it.
and you will, yes, 100%.
No, I mean, I didn't love it. I mean, coming out of high school, I was like a quick scorer, I wasn't a shooter. Like I wasn't. Like it's just not, but I'm stubborn, and if I need to make threes off a handoff to play, like that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I'm gonna rep out, right? If I have to, be able to shoot off a flare screen at the slot, like that's what I'm gonna be able to do. I didn't love the idea. You feel restricted, right? That's sort of the knock on it. So as a player, as a freshman coming in, I didn't like it, especially, and I think we were talking about this, because in the fall and pickup, right? Like you're kind of cooking, like you're going,
yeah.
You're moving, like you're like, I'm gonna roast, and then you get in you're like, coach, I'm just jab and go, like I'm good. I don't need to look at the hack. Like, like, you know, it's a you know, a flat-footed, not great athlete at Bates. Like, I'm going by him. You know, and that's sort of the thought as a freshman, I think. And then you get to see sort of the top end of the league, and you're like, holy shit! Like, how are these guys playing Division III? That kid's 6'6" and a better athlete than I am. Like, all right, I think I'm going to use that fade screen. I don't think it's hard to pick up. You know, you just got to want to do it. I think the biggest knock is that athletes feel restricted, and then those who aren't sort of skilled, like high skilled. I think I make the right reads. I think I'm more of an athlete who learns the skill of basketball. So that was easy. Like, learning the skill of the Princeton was easy. But I think if like games and movement and spacing doesn't come naturally to a person, it can be really challenging. And I think we had some teammates who saw that, like the instinct, they want to just like run to the ball, maybe, right? Like a lot of kids, or they just want to get it and go right away, which is, I mean, we coach that and teach that now. But if the spacing's not right, you can't do that. So again, I think, yeah, depending on the individual, I think it can be really challenging to learn. Especially with the way that AAU was going at the time, and sort of the pace of the game. I think that sort of slow down, sort of cerebral type of game was becoming more difficult for kids to adjust to, as they got into college.
I think that what you explained to me is, I think that the Princeton offense taught me how to play with, like you said, spacing. It just taught me how to just read screens and just, I don't know, just play overall. I'm coming from the city, 5 out, you pass, screen away, come off the curl. If not, it's ISO ball. But I think the comment that you made to me when I first met you were like, Princeton offense it's like for a coach's ego. You were like, you throw it to the high post, you screen away, the guy goes back door, you hit him on the back door. It's like, damn, I did that. You know, I just created that, and ever since you said that to me, it always stuck, because that's how I felt. I felt restricted, and I just felt like, if I didn't throw it to the high post, and if I didn't cut back door, I just knew I was going to get pulled, or, I wasn't going to get the ball at the back end.
It seems like, doesn't it seem though, like it's ego, but it's also like it's a way for a coach to have control, but also act like they saying, well, it's, read and react, but it's sort of still controlled, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. The funny thing is, and you guys know this, is that like the concepts of the Princeton are in everything, right? Like, we definitely have actions and sets where it's pretty much to the T. Like, I don't really tell the guys this because it's not about me, but like, guys, I scored like 800 points on this shit. Like it works.
It definitely works.
Yeah, a lot of it's just like 2-man game on repeat, right? Yep. And then like you just play away, and now you have a different 2-man game. I think the way that if I were to coach it, I would allow guys to, like, sort of the random cuts. Like that's where I felt restricted. Like, my guy's sleeping. Like, why did I grow up learning that if my guy turns his head, I can flash? Like, why did I grow up like learning that if I come around and take the handoff, I can just carry this into the next action instead of having to reverse pivot and throw it back to the guy. Like there's so much more to it. And I think as a, I think I have to just be creative in life to figure things out. Like, I felt like it stunted my creativity, not like my game, but like my creativity. Like, this could work right here. Yeah. I throw it on the high post, and instead of, getting to the elbow, the split action on the weak side elbow, I go take a handoff from the high post.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, my guy knows it's coming, so why don't I just take that handoff? I know I can make that 15-footer. Right. So that's, I think I felt like it limits creativity or freedom. So yeah, I mean, no doubt, Matt, it's definitely full control because the coaches control the spacing and the action.
Yep.
Now you can cut back door, you can come over the top, or, but I don't know. I did not love it. I did not love it. We played 2 games where we didn't run the Princeton. I think coach was on his sort of last leg. And we didn't run the Princeton, and I scored like 24 and 18. I was like,
just give me the rock, coach.
went 1-1. No, not give me the rock, but we went 1-1 and lost to a team we should not have. And I remember this very well. Coach brought me in and it's like, I'm not great at coaching that way. I think we probably got to stick with the Princeton. And yeah, I was like, all right, it's good. We lost to Manhattan. Like, we shouldn't lose them. Like, yeah, let's go back to it.
I kind of agree with you because I think initially I had a hard time with it because it's just like a new concept. But like once I was a senior, I knew exactly where I was going to get shots from, and like I kind of dictated where, like you were saying, the flare. I used to get the flare screen.
Yep.
On we used to call it point go away. So I'd dribble a guy back door and then the flare would come from the top. I probably couldn't tell you how many threes I hit off just that action. But once I was the point man, like once I was the guy running the point, like I dictated where I wanted to get the ball in different spots. So I kind of used that to an advantage, I guess.
Yeah. I think we called that spin away.
Yeah. Spin it is, but point. Yeah. We used to call it go away, but same concept.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm going to just run at this back door here. And then know the forward's going to come out off the elbow and send me this flare. And I'm going to catch it, shooter, or catch it.
Yep, that's literally what I'd go to every time.
I guess right. Like we're a little bit selfish. Like, how am I going to get the ball? Like, and how am I going to play? Like,
yeah. But that's why like Julio never liked it, and I don't blame him because when I was a freshman, I was in his position. I was the point guard, and it was pass, go to the corner, and you kind of
and then you become a corner spot up shooter,
which is a good. To what Julio's game was, that doesn't service him.
It doesn't work for Julio's game.
Correct. So you need to essentially.
I can stroke it.
Yeah, but you're not you know what I'm saying? Like you have more value than just being a catch and shoot guy. I feel like if you're in a Princeton offense, you got to have all 5 guys that are literally catch and shoot guys, and you need a good post passer because usually that 5 man's, So but that doesn't work for every team, and I think unless you have the personnel, then it doesn't service everybody.
Yeah. No, there's definitely ways to do it. I like playing really fast, and then if we don't have transition, then getting into the action. I think that would be a way to sort of appease both parties. And again, everyone's better than they actually are in their brains, right?
Yeah.
Like every single player, and it's good. It's good.
That's me.
Every single player can play fast. Every single player can use a ball screen. Every single player should catch the ball late clock and score. But like in reality, there's not really.
Yeah.
But if we're playing fast, I think that gives guys the freedom. And then it's like, okay, we had our turn as players to try to get a really clean look early offense. Now let's run coaching shit, right?
Yeah, and I love like some of the quick hitters. If you just took some of the concepts, the actions, they're great actions. It was more of just like running that continuously. The whole goddamn game was just like, oh boy.
Right. Yeah.
It's I don't mind it. I just had bad experiences. It's like when you're coming up with the 2 guard and he keeps telling you, hey, just go through, brother. It's like, well, we just did this 6 possessions in a row, brother. Like, I think I can run it. I think I can throw it to the high post and play a little bit,
Right.
So I don't know. It's always just it's a love-hate thing, and it's just refreshing again to hear somebody else who's been in that position. But I'm dealing with 2 shooters here. I'm dealing with 2 guys who who shot the pill. So I'm not too mad about it. So Shavar, moving on. You had obviously a successful career at Con. Did you think about playing pro, or did you want to go strictly into coaching right after?
No, I did. I probably my coolest basketball memory was going to Charlotte and for a combine. And so Charles Stone was one of our better players. He was signed to this 22 Feet agency. This guy named Mike Rawson. And they had a showcase, and it was wild. I feel like my basketball story is kind of funky. So senior year, our team, we were sort of disjointed, right? Half the guys loved what we did. They really enjoyed our coach. And then half the guys didn't. I wasn't even in really that mindset, except I'm here, I'm playing, I'm a senior, I'm trying to win. Like, it's a good opportunity. I don't really have the gene of like, I'm at a NESCAC school playing basketball. Things are bad. Like, I'm going to tell my parents. Like, I don't have that in me. So I was, you know, probably more on the side of, you know, yeah, let's do whatever to win. And we had a crazy year. And so in the spring, I was like training with 2 or 3 kids, preparing to play overseas, and go to this combine, which was the day before graduation. It was awesome. And, you know, you go down there, there's 125 guys, people who played overseas. There was only like 4 Division III guys. And it was the best. The thing that I remember the most, so I you know, I think I worked really hard, is we had the beat test. And I won the beat test. Like I was the last guy to make the time. And I remembered the, like, you know, wobbly legs, like literally, and like the whole gym, like being excited. Kids who, like, there's a dunk contest, I'm not in. There's 3-point contest, I didn't win. But I like won the conditioning test. And I was like, it was like this sort of gratification of like, I've worked so hard for this. And they cut, and you guys know, you know, it's 25 guys. Next day, you know, you're down to 100. 125 down to 100. Next day, you're down to 80. And, you know, the final day was 24 guys, 2 teams, and like you know, and like 16 contracts were handed out. And Mike Rawson's like, we're going to give you a contract. You know, and, you know, it was like the best thing ever. I remember going to the airport after, like calling coach and be like, I think it's going to work out. like we're good. There's like 3 teams. There's a team in England. There's a team in Ireland. There's a team in France. France was like an N2 team. I don't know if you know, it's like Pro A, Pro B, N1, N2, N3, N4. Like, this is sick. It was like, I felt like, yeah, I'll play basketball for $20,000 anywhere. Like, at 23, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. You know, it was really amazing. And so I trained all summer, and I booked my flight to France. I was supposed to leave on September 24th, and I broke my foot. I got a Jones fracture 3 weeks before, in early September, playing pickup. Like, so dumb. I literally remember like yesterday, playing pickup. And you know, I called coach, I called the agent, and they're like, we can bring you over, you can train, but we can't pay you, like, because you're not playing. And, you know, my situation was, you know, I didn't have insurance because of my family situation. So instead of getting the KD like rod in my 5th metatarsal, that's like 10 grand, I had to, you know, get put in a boot, and it's a 4-month recovery. And I remember just I remember sitting on my buddy's couch, like really with no place to live. My grandma had passed away that summer. Like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Am I going to go to another country and just like train with people I don't know? Like, what? And I called my coach, and it's like, coach, I'm either going to play basketball or coach. Like, we know what it is. We know what it is. You know, when you're that guy. I knew what I was doing. I had an intern at Merrill Lynch for like 5 days, and I got connected through a con guy, and I was like, this is not for me. Sorry, Dwayne. Which is, again, all good to each their own. I'd be making way more money now, I'm sure. And coach made some calls. And, you know, this is, Julio, we talk about this, like the power of connection and clubs. And the head coach at St. Michael's was a Bowdoin grad. So he calls up Gilbride, and he's like, oh, Shavar was one of the best players in the league for 3 years and seems like a pretty good kid. And, you know, I go up there, and sure enough, we start talking about NESCAC stuff. And he's like, he hires me. So Division II assistant coach at 23 years old. And if you guys know coaches, like that's starting at a really good spot.
Yeah.
You know, and it was all just because, you know, I established pretty strong relationships with my coach, with the coaches in the league. And, you know, you be a good kid, you work hard, you play hard. And coaches sort of hear of you and things. And, you know, I couldn't afford to kind of wait and hang around and sleep on my buddy's couches trying to, you know, live that dream of playing abroad. Which was, again, that was the worst thing ever. That summer, as fun as it was awful because my grandma passed away. So I was just sort of on overdrive. I didn't like talk to anybody. I didn't do anything. I didn't drink. I didn't enjoy senior week. I did nothing. It was a really interesting, you know, post graduation of college for me. whereas many of my peers at places like that have jobs lined up. You know, it was really weird. But definitely something that I remember really, really vividly, and how important it is to have those connections, because, you know, basically I graduated and walk into a Division II assistant coaching job. It's sort of the moral of the story.
Can't beat that.
Which is
No.
hell no. Hell no, you can't. What the hell? And then, you know, like you were saying, you build those connections, and I think you still have the connections to this day. I mean, after that, after St. Michael's, you were doing intramural recreation, because you were a part-time assistant, or were you full-time?
Yeah, I was the part-time assistant, so I ran the camp, which is how you make most of your money, right? Because you're getting, you know, $8,000 plus whatever you make at camp, plus you know, whatever else. So yeah, I run the camps. You know, obviously, just, you know, our roles were the same. So if it's my scout, I would do the travel. If it was Nick's scout, you know, I would do the travel there, and vice versa. So we had the same types of jobs. I would just have the additional, like, you know, you run the intramurals piece. But I tell this to our guys all the time, just when we're thinking about character and how to treat people, and you know, just you're putting your brand out all the time. Josh Meyer came in as an assistant, and then ended up being the head coach at St. Mike's 2 years after I'd left, and I'd known him because he coached at Conway back. He called me randomly one day and said, "Hey, I just got a call from the AD at the gunnery, and he said their position is open, and we've had a conversation, and you mentioned you might want to coach at the prep level and help sort of high school kids, and that might be something that you're interested in. Do you want me to give them your name?" And I was just sitting in my office like, "Yeah, sure, thanks, Josh." Like, didn't really think anything of it. Like, wasn't looking to leave. In my brain, until that phone call, I was like, "Yeah, let's do this college coaching thing for as long as I can, and let's see." I, you know, end up being a head coach, and, you know, never seeing like my wife or family and everything. Like, I could do that, right? But the prep school thing opened up, and I went on a visit, and I was like, I think I can do this. I think it would fit my personality a little bit. And there were things about the college game, or where we were coaching in college, that I didn't love. That I did.
Which was?
Yeah. So I remember this like it was yesterday too. I remember bringing Kareem. I'll hold the last name in. He was a rising junior, and he was okay. But the last coaches before us brought him in, Coach O'Shea's group, and we took a scholarship away because we found this other kid named James Cambrone, who's still playing overseas. He was all league, one of the best players in, you know, recent memory at St. Mike. So we needed James to win, right? And if you don't win, you get fired. So we essentially took this player's scholarship away, who had a 3.3, whom everybody loved on the team, but just wasn't that good. He just wasn't that good. He didn't develop. So we told him, and like, he had to go back to Chicago, and ended up going to like a JUCO, like a community college, because he didn't have a left hook. Like, I want to be somebody who helps and who aids and who inhibits as opposed to prohibits. That was really challenging for me. You know, he didn't do anything wrong. Just because he's not a grinder, and like, he was great on campus. Everyone loved him. He just wasn't good enough, and we needed to get James. So, and that happens all the time, and maybe more intensely at higher levels and things. So that moment, I was like, all right, I don't know if I can do that. I can do that forever. But that's scholarship basketball. Like, that's what you got to do. You have 10 scholarships, and they better be the right 10. You know, so that was something that I did not love about that moment specifically.
Do you deal with that at Taft though? Do you have scholarships and stuff like that? I don't know. I really don't know how the prep school stuff works, but
yeah, so we try to mirror the Ivy Leagues or the NESCAC. So we're need based.
Yeah. So
my favorite kids to recruit, or the easiest kids in ways, are really smart kids who don't come from means, because then you know, Brewster or whomever can't pay for them, because it'll be free at Taft and free at wherever, right? We don't have athletic or scholarships for the arts or for anything. Everything is need based. So no, like we don't really deal with that at all. You know, I think I just get my guys and you know, I just get the players that I want to be around.
And I think that's the cool thing about being a prep school coach instead of like a public school high school coach, because public, you got what you got, right? You don't get to choose. You get the opportunity to bring guys you want around you. And I think that's pretty cool.
Matt, that's the reason I would take a prep school job and probably not a high school job. We all work so hard. If I'm gonna, miss dinners with my wife and sacrifice all that we do, it's gonna be with people that I want to be around.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be people that I want to be around. Period. So it's a little bit sort of an in between of the college realm where you don't have to really be, slimy at all. And then the high school realm where it's the same sort of age. But yeah, there's nothing here that I think to myself, man, I wish we had this, or I wish we did things totally differently. It's pretty good. I can get my guys. Sometimes but
look behind you. It looks like Bel Air. Like, come on, man. Like, I wouldn't want to go nowhere else either. The thing about Shavar is he's not shy about telling you how lucky he is. I'll be like, man, Shavar, living the dream. Like, you working out kids in the morning. He's going to golf at 12:30.
Nice.
He's like, yeah. He's like, Julio, yeah, I'm lucky. I really am. He tells me all the time. And look at him. He tried to make he tried to move the camera over so he can.
Check it out.
Bel Air.
That's funny. Oh man, no, it's good, man. It's really good. I will say though, Matt, and this is sort of something that we all probably deal with. I miss the constant basketball talk, the X's and O's. Like there's nobody at Taft where, that I can call up or email and be, hey, stop by. We have to get on the board for an hour.
Yeah.
Like that's what I miss the most. And so you still do clinics, you still, subscribe to, every podcast, or, you're buying videos, you have the Spurs and the Golden State Warriors playbooks, but it's kind of isolating in a way. And I do miss having three guys and a GA in our office at 7 a.m. for a 10 o'clock practice, talking about the details of the drills and how are people rotating and what are we going to emphasize, and are we emphasizing angles, or are we emphasizing passion in this drill? Like what are we actually doing? I miss that a ton. And that's the one piece that I, hopefully they'll give me an assistant and I can find somebody who's really into basketball, who's also a teacher.
I'm pretty sure you can finagle something. But yeah, Shavar. So we talk about it on here too. I want to know, because I think you just got out of a session, but like, can you just go through? You train your own guys. Like, you don't have a player development guy. You know what I mean? You're kind of like in the nitty gritty with those guys. Can you just go through like a summer workout? Like, what do you guys do? What are you emphasizing? How many guys you got going at a time? Type of thing. Can you just break it down?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to vary depending on who we're working out and what where they are in terms of their development, right? Like there's no plan for everyone, right? It's wild. I think when I hear coaches talk about this is the plan I'm going to give, imagine like giving directions to somebody without knowing their starting point, right? Like it doesn't even make sense, right? You need to know a starting point, and this is the destination. Like the destination doesn't make sense if you don't know the starting point. So, it's going to depend on the kid, right? With the type of work, and we'll say it's individual for right now. So, one kid, maybe two kids. Shamir, college player, Stonehill, scholarship basketball player, phenomenal. We're literally working on what his eyes are seeing when he comes off the pick and roll, and how to convert from being score all the time to see the next play and make the play for the next guy. Reading the third defender, why playing on 2 feet helps that. Just gives your eyes more time to make the read. ball fakes without your eyes just to move, and you guys know that like Chris Paul, like all like really good guards, like they'll show it, but they're not even looking to shoot, but they know the defense has to react, so they're showing it to create angles. That's stuff that I would never work with our incoming 10th graders. We would literally work on the footwork on a reverse pivot throwback, hit the lift guy, or like the actual hook pass, right, on 2 feet on balance, right? I don't need to talk to Shamir about balance, right? Just because he's phenomenal, right? So it's gonna be so individualized, and I think that's something that we offer, over the summer and in the fall. We're up at 6 a.m. 6:30 workouts in the fall. In the fall will generally be 2 or 3 guys, and it'll be guards or forwards, guards, wings, or bigs are on their own. We'll work on them with them individually. So it's, again, that's kind of where I get the fix. Going back to the last piece I was saying, I don't really have a guy to go through the chalk talk with, but like at night I'm often sitting down thinking about who I'm going to work out the next day and what types of movements and drills and how we want to set up, their development. Generally with our guys, there's, the first step is to teach them how to work, right?
Yep.
We see kids all the time. Like, I don't care if I shot 200 shots. Yeah, but like none of them were game speed. None of them you caught the ball the right way. I mean, that's why this weekend was really cool for a lot of kids. You catch the ball casually like this, hanging out, and the other kid is guarding you, is like, I'm trying to get a scholarship from Duke, and they just snatch it out of your hand. Like, literally that happened to one of our kids. Like, they're like hanging, ooh, the casual snap. Like, you better catch, like you're trying to get Shire to offer you, like, you know what I mean? So teaching them how to work out intensely, I think, is a lot of the work we do with the lower schoolers. And it's much less complicated than what I just described about Shamir. It's more about the intensity of it. It's more about getting game speed reps. And again, catching and the footwork and sort of the fundamentals of a workout, as opposed to the super details, because they'll just get lost. I've found in my time, if I were to sort of add all these elements, they would then not come off the ball screen shoulder to hip. Like, I don't have to tell them how to come off the ball screen, how to set it up, how to get flat. Like, I don't have to tell them any of that. Like, for our kids, like, our current guys, that's what we're coaching and teaching. And so.
It was a luxury for Shavar to have it was Shamir to have you prior, and then he goes to the NE10, Stonehill, and gather that information, then come back to work out with you in the summer. It's like, he's kind of like a product of the environment that he was in,
Maybe I my mind is built that I think I could have done a better job with everyone. I wish I could have got him to think less about scoring and more about sharing.
Yeah.
Probably would have got that scholarship when Brown came to watch him. It was actually awesome the other day to just sort of touch on what kids remember. I asked Shamir a question, what do you remember about your high school experience, or what are a couple things that you would change? And he said, like, being more intense early on. He's like, I remember the Brown coach came to watch me. Like, he was there to watch me. And I remember kind of like catching it and like casually like laying the ball up and like coming off screens hard, but not like I wanted to, like tell the guy like I'm the kid you want to offer. And Shamir's the best. He's literally like the best. Like, one of my favorite players that I've ever coached, and will be. He's phenomenal. But it just speaks to, like, that's not a natural thing for kids. It's not a natural thing for a 15-year-old to say, I'm going to take this scholarship. Like, I'm going to earn this, right? Which is why, it's, everything is, coaches talk about potential, because they understand that, these kids aren't that finished product yet. It's offering off of potential once we're able to instill that. So it's really fascinating to think about. Watch them work out now, and we'll have Division I kids at Taft, and Shamir's better than them right now by far. But, it's taken them some time to get there, Yeah.
I love that. I love the fact that we're teaching them how to work. That's just the way I train. I think that's the same way Maddie trains over there in Mass. It's just, you can go hard for 45 minutes. Carmelo Anthony said it's like, let's make it intense for 45 minutes. Let's get game shots at game speed. for 45 to an hour. You know, you don't have to be in here for 2.5 hours saying, yeah, I put up 400 on the gun.
Right.
Yeah, man. I mean, the gun machine sometimes messes up too, so we don't know how much you're really making or missing. So,
Right. What is that your philosophy? Is that sort of your guys' philosophy? It's about sort of the intensity of the workouts, or what are some of
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely my philosophy and kind of like the group I work with. So I got that from Chris Herron. I worked out with Chris Herron when I was junior in high school. And I just remember, I was doing that. We were like 35 minutes into the, session, and I mean, he was beating my ass for like 30. So I'm like, I'm already like kind of winded, and we started doing this shooting drill. And I remember he stopped the whole thing. He goes, yo, if you need a break, go take a break, because the way you just did that rep isn't good enough. Like, you're not going game speed.
Right.
He's
Go
like,
speed, baby.
he's like, there's nothing wrong with taking a break, but he's like, don't do this drill not 100%, because you're just wasting your time, my time. So ever since that, he said that to me, that's kind of the philosophy I always taken. Like, if you're doing a rep, whether, I think the hardest thing too is like for kids when you're doing we don't have 1,000 people working in the training session, so we can't simulate defense all the time. So sometimes you're going again 1-on-0 or whatever to do the shooting drill, and I'll tell kids, like, you have to have an imagination. Like, you have to imagine like you're going against kind of how you just said, like another player that's fighting for that scholarship. You're gonna pretend you're going against him and simulate that, because if you don't, you're just gonna go half-assed and you're not doing a real basketball move. But I definitely think that's the number one thing I see is that, I think kids don't really have that imagination, or maybe haven't been told that. So, yeah.
Two dogs, one bone, right, Matty?
That's all I always say. Yeah, that's another one. That was from our college coach. He said that. He always like, there's two dogs, is one bone. What dog are you? Because both dogs don't get the bone. So
I might steal that.
You got to. It's the best one, man. I'll say that to kids, and their faces are like hilarious, because they're like kind of like thinking like, oh shit, what dog am I?
Right.
And that's why I said to him, man, you gotta figure out what dog you want to be, because if you're the dog that doesn't get the bone, then I'm sorry, you ain't gonna make it.
Right. No, that's cool. I heard a story from a college coach I was talking to this weekend. Similar purpose, I think. He has all of the players tell the assistant coach how many minutes they think they're gonna play. Like every player, right? Every player.
Yeah.
Right. And then obviously there's only a certain amount of, it's all right. we get dogs running around here.
I like it.
It's and there's only
dogs.
finite minutes in a game, right? 5 players times 20. And then, he's like, guys, we have twice as many minutes as we can possibly put out there.
Yeah.
So who's losing the minutes, right? Who's losing the minutes? And I thought it was a pretty clever way
That's
to
pretty
kind
cool.
of get that point across. Like, here's all the minutes of the game, and here's how many minutes we think we're gonna play. So it's cut
like that. But I think it's why it's the best sport. That's why I always tell people there's only 5 guys that can be out there. So, and I think the other problem, I don't know if you see this, and maybe it's like an AU thing, but like I gotta tell guys like during workouts, like I've seen like someone get scored on and they're like, oh, good move, and they dap them up. I'm like, yo, like I would never even think about doing that shit ever. Like that could be my best friend in the whole wide world. Once we step on that court across the lines, I hate you. Like I really do. And I feel like we've lost that. I feel like, which again, I want people to be good people, but it's like you gotta like separate it. It's like you gotta come into a different person when you step on the court.
Yeah, that's we should talk more. I have it's challenging for me at Taft to teach and coach that. Like we do, obviously, right? Just because I think the expectation on campus is like beyond excellence. The way that you write an email, the way that you meet your teachers, like every single thing, it's like you have to be this excellent human and really nice and kind. And I think we've had some of our players who kind of just want to walk around the halls, like have their headphones in and be easy and like not say hello to people. And like that's really like people will come in my office and be like, what's going on with this kid?
Yeah,
what you do? Well, you all walk by me in the hall, like that's but on the court, you're a killer. Like when you get in these lines, like there's no second place. right? There's no being nice. That's not a thing. And sort of toggling that on and off is something that I know, given the Taft and what we are, that I have to work on and talk about and preach and discuss every single day. Like, it's every single day. And it's honestly, it's hard to recruit. Like, Julio knows, we've had a couple guys that I love. Some of his guys, they're like my kind of kids, like as an athlete, as a coach, but they're really not like the Bel Air kind of kid. So it's like working with them, and you know, it's tough. It's a challenge, right? It's hard to do both, you know. And I think our institution would rather the kid who's gonna, you know, be a great community person and then end up going, you know, to, you know, name the academic D3 school that's strong, you know, just because he kind of gets in on his own, as opposed to like, I'll take the kid who, you know, isn't like super Cheerio kid on campus, but is going to go to, you know, Central Arkansas and play like, you know, tough athletic league. Like, that's the kid I want, right? Because they're all good kids, right? They're all good kids. And that's probably something I need to figure out if I want to continue to do that here. And win, right? And win, you know, and win.
Because winning's important. Winning is the most important thing, don't you think?
Yeah, it depends how we defined winning, right? Like, what is the scope of winning? Is it winning basketball games, or is it the fact that Shamir is up at 6 a.m. working out and then going to John Hancock for his internship for 8 hours, and then our other guys are, you know, at amazing universities, and every kid, literally every single kid that we've coached is like doing things professionally that I don't think they would have had the option to, right? Like, that's winning. But like, you know, we're like a 500 team, and we made the postseason last year, and yeah, like, what is winning? I think that's something I ask myself all the time when I'm recruiting, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It is tricky. Like, what is it? Do I just want to try to win championships?
Yeah. You know, Shavar,
I don't know.
Yeah, it is actually a very good philosophy question. I mean, I'm totally different setting. Like, I coach right now, you know, middle school level, and my whole goal is, I tell the kids, like, you know, I want to win like the games, but I said, to me, it's not always about that. Like I said, if you walk out of here a better person and a better player, then I think I did my job.
Yes.
That's kind of the way I see it, you know?
Yeah.
At that level, yes.
At that level, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Shavar, you know, when we talk about winning, I just remember a time where we were playing in a men's league, and you know, it's like we were like in a dog fight, and Shavar just comes over to the bench. We're sweating, Maddie, sweating bullets. We're in the rec center. It's like a heated battle, you know, and he sits down. He's just like, man, this is fun. This is in the middle of a game, Maddie. We're in the middle of a game, like I think we were down 2 or 4. It's like a battle. It's probably like 2 minutes left. And Shavar just sits down. He's just like, man, this is fun.
I love it.
I was like, man. I was like, so I guess that you know, adds on to your point of like winning. Like, we're out there, we're having a good time, we're playing the right way, we're sweating, you know, like we're in great shape, we're good people. It's just like, I never looked at it like that, because I'm always just intense. Like, I'm always like, I always want to win. And Shavar would tell you, Maddie, you know this too. Like, there could be a Division I guy that played at Montana, you know, and I'm playing against him in the men's league. I'm like, bro, I'm fucking better than him. I'm killing him today. Like, he's not better than me today. You might got 27, but I got 18 and 9. Like, I'm feeling good. You know? So I guess that adds to your point, Shavar, of, you know, what's winning, and, you know, that credits to your personality too. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think something that I try to teach our guys is that, like, you have to enjoy that battle. Like, if you're not that dog that like wants to fight for that bone, like if you get in there's like, oh, this is really hard, like those guys are tough, like I don't know, or you're gonna be like, yes, I like that, like I like to get hit in the mouth a little bit. That tingles. Like, let's do it. Like, let's what else can we do, you know? Like, it's fun. Like, it has to be fun. Like, enjoy the grind, enjoy the toughness, enjoy the summer sprints. And like, I mean, we're all going to do it, right? Or every kid thinks they're going to do it. You're going to be like what are you going to be? When you're standing on that line about to run your 10th 100, are you going to be like, this stinks, I can't wait to go get ice cream, or like, let's crush this last one, like let's make this best rep, you know? And a lot of that is just that energy that you bring to whatever the situation is. Yeah, it's fun. It is fun.
That's a great way to kind of conclude this segment, Shavar. I mean, obviously we can talk all day, but you got a tea time, Maddie.
Tea time, man. I wish I was coming.
Yeah, hey man, let me know. I'm in the hunt for guys who like golf. So
you're a trooper right now. It's hot as shit out there. I hope you ain't walking today.
Oh no, not walking today. Not walking today.
No, Jeffrey's gonna pick him up behind him in the damn limo. Shavar, I love you, man. I really appreciate you. Before we end, though, I gotta end it with the who what. This is our end segment. We kind of ask you a question starting with who or what.
Do it.
And you kind of think about the first thing that you think about. All right. I got 4 of them for you. Yeah. And you just all right. Who was the first person, or who is the one person actually that inspires you on a daily basis?
Kobe Bryant.
Love it. What an answer.
I was honestly I thought you were gonna say your wife. Like your wife's a warrior.
No.
Well, I don't see her most mornings because yeah, my wife is nuts, dude. She is beyond it. She gets up at 4:30, does a 60-minute boot camp, and then goes to work and like puts people to sleep. And she's an anesthetist, and like comes home and is like rocking, like just doing. She's like Kawhi, like robot, like she's
that's incredible.
No, she's a specimen, like. And she's no bullshit either. She'll like check me, like, like you were in college, you looked like you were like a little bit more in shape. You know what's going on here? Hence the mid afternoon round, get everything out.
Yeah, get it all out.
So Kobe and my wife.
What was? Okay, you can have two. Yeah, hopefully she hears your pod. What was the one thing that you thought about before games as a player or as a coach?
Well, they're different.
Mm-hmm.
As a player,
one or the other.
Yeah. As a player, I literally, you just think about like your circumstance. Mm-hmm. Like I would just think about, like the shit I've been, like I'm like the toughest guy out. Like I'm gonna make the right decision when it's hard. Like I'm the toughest guy out. Whatever people think tough is. Like I would just think about my circumstance, my gram, like, you know, moving around. Like I would literally think like, and I just in the moment, like I know that I'm gonna get through and figure out how to win. Because right, like whatever we say to ourselves, whether true or not, because I've done it my whole life, right? Because I found right, like I'm going to win. Mm-hmm. And like the ball's supposed to go in the basket. I'm supposed to make the right read. And like, that's, you just think about it, you know, and
Speaking
of way different. Coach is not even close. Being a coach is like so far. It's number 2, but it's so far away from being a player. Like being a player is the best thing ever. As a coach, you're not even thinking about that. I'm not even thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the guys, what the team's going to do, what actions we're going to go to if we're stuck, what are we going to do when we get through, like all the stuff. Like, do I need to switch up the tempo? You know, like just like you're not even thinking about, it's not about you. Like there's no toughness involved. Like obviously you coach that way because it's your personality, but as a coach, the calculus is spinning, right? It's like all the calculus is going on. There's no time to be like, I'm that guy. I'm locking my guy up today.
Yeah, I'm out coaching him today. Who did you listen to before games when you played?
Lil Wayne. Drop the World. Like I listened to that 1,000 times. Like that. Like Lil Wayne was going. Like dedications. Like that stuff was rocking when I was, you know, in college. Wayne was my guy. No doubt. Wayne was my guy.
He had definitely a good run during that time. I remember. Last one. What is your all and be all? What's your dream job? And you know, we don't have to let people at Taft hear this because it might not be there. Who knows?
No, well, I think people are lying. Like everyone lies. Like my dream job, is to be Chris Paul right now. Like I want to be in the NBA. Like guys, like if I got a call Like I'm dropping everything. Like people lie, like it's bullshit. Like no, like I'm gonna be like, babe, I'm sorry, you can come with me, but like, or get divorced. Like I'm going to the league. Like that is everyone's. That's again why I was joking. Like Jawan Howard was different in that gym because nobody wanted to be a coach. Like, and you do it and you love it. And trust me, I love what I do. But like being a player is the best thing, and I'm never gonna lose that. I think people lie to themselves. Like you wouldn't watch basketball every day if it wasn't about the players. like being a player is the best job in the world. Like,
that's probably the most candid and honest thing that I've ever heard a coach say.
And it's the most correct thing I've ever heard.
I think you're right. You just said what I want to say to people all the time, but I'm just afraid of their reaction. I'm like, Julio, stop. You can't shoot it. I'm shooting. I don't care. Men's league now. I'm shooting. I'm sure. I want to be Chris Paul too. You're not.
And you know who would have the best answer right now is Dwayne Wade. He like owns the team. He's sitting on the sideline, but he's like he's talking to Donovan Mitchell. He's like, damn, the things I do 24 again. Like, but he owns a team and he has Gabrielle. Like his life is phenomenal, but he's still like, damn, I wish I was gonna run in 2006 and everyone's chanting Flash. Like, when have you had 20, 30,000 people chanting Flash? Like being a player is the best thing. And like, people are lying if they say otherwise.
Shavar, I'm gonna start. If you get to the league, I'm gonna start a chant that says "Shav money."
Please do. Well, at least when we play golf, when I'm walking down 18, yell it from the cart.
Oh man, it was a pleasure, man. Shavar, thank you for your time. I know you gotta get going, so obviously keep doing what you're doing and continue like you do.
Yeah, I appreciate you both, man. Let's stay in touch and help as many kids as we can.
All right, man. Hit him well today.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll try. All right, gentlemen.
All right, Javar.
Hey, just stay true to yourself. And if nobody wanna help you, you can do it yourself. And if you live and impress others, it's how you losing yourself. And if you keep on running back, you just abusing yourself. Damn. I pray to God that you find your way. And when times is good, don't forget to pray. And be thankful for all the blessings that seem to come your way, cause that's how more come to you. That's all I had to say.